from the Denver Broncos Media Center, welcome to Broncos Country Tonight with Ryan Edwards and Benjamin Albright.
Welcome to Broncos Country Tonight. Ryan Edwards here with you, and of course, we're glad to have Steve Atwater in studio again. What's up, Steve?
What's up, R. Edwards?
Good to have you here, man. We are going to preview the Broncos versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, of course, the Raiders beat the Broncos earlier this year, and so there's a little bit of what you're hoping for the Broncos to get back into at least splitting with the Raiders. And honestly, like in a general sense, the Broncos need to kind of become that team anyways. I'd say if you're looking for silver linings, and maybe some people are going to roll their eyes at this, what you want to do is mature as a team. You want to take some steps forward as an organization. That starts by at least splitting with your in-division opponents. Eventually, you go back to what they used to be, where they were beating their in-division opponents and sweeping them. But let's walk before or crawl before we walk. That's what I meant to say. So for the Raiders game here, they beat you in your house. Now you go to their house and you beat them. And I think that'd be an important developmental stage for the Broncos.
Yeah, and it's not asking too much. And generally speaking, division games are the toughest games of any teams that you play because, you've played against each other so many times and you kind of know what to expect from them, and you have so much more preparation for those teams than you do the other teams. So I'm anticipating this being a really good game. Our guys know that we didn't play as well as we wanted to last week. We dropped that game, but now, hey, we're back up. We're back up, and it's time to show out and just put everything behind you and go out and play football.
It's a great point you bring up because it is a little bit of a test of character moment for the Broncos. A game that you had to have, the Cincinnati Bengals in front of your home crowd, you had to have that. You were not able to pull that out. So what are you going to do? What is the response of this team? One thing I'll give credit to the coaching staff as well as the players. They are still playing hard out there. I mean, I know that the execution and all of that, sometimes you wish there'd be a little bit better here and there. And of course, when you only score 10 points at home, there's a lot of fingers to point. But in the end, I didn't see lack of want to, and I haven't seen that all season.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, and I think that shows the character of the players that we have on this team because, they're not going to go out there and loaf around. They're playing for one another. They're playing as hard as they can play. They're doing the best that they can do. And obviously, with the record, we can play better as a unit. But, I think once they go home and look at the film, they feel good that, hey, I went out, I played as hard as I can play. Unfortunately, you don't win all the games when you do that, but I think without that, you have no chance of winning. So,
right.
Hopefully we can put it together and we'll be in sync this week versus last week. Last week, offense couldn't get it going. Hopefully it'll be different this week.
Yeah, so they had a little bit of a bump. And the Broncos, I think, had to absorb a little bit of that when Rich Bisaccia took over for John Gruden. They won that game. They won the Eagles game, but then they kind of went on a bit of a slide. And, yeah, they scored a lot of points against Dallas. That was a big gut check game for them. Credit there. But they've been scoring 16 points, 14 points, 9 points, 15. Like, it's been kind of a low-scoring, low-output offense. And unfortunately for them, it's led to quite a few losses, inconsistent play overall. What you've seen of the Raiders up to this point, are they legitimately a team that is kind of not really focused on closing things out? Is it a matter of the injuries? I know Darren Waller's been out for quite a bit of time. Yeah. I'm trying to completely understand where the slide came from because they were a 5-2 team right there at midseason. They were being talked about as one of the best teams in the AFC. And then all of a sudden, they kind of went on this slide, and it's been pretty rough for them. Yeah,
it's been rough. They've had some games that they should have won. They've lost to some teams that they shouldn't have lost to. The same way we were, though.
Yeah.
I think we dropped some games that we felt like we were going to win at the beginning of the season. And you look at the stats, the games where they've done well, they've rushed the ball well. They've normally have over 100 or so yards rushing when they've done well. And when they've been in this 50, 60, 70 yards, they haven't been as successful. So and when I think of the Raiders and them playing well, I think of Josh Jacobs. I think of Kenyon Drake, is that their second running back?
Yeah, he's been a little banged up. I think Peyton Barber right now is the guy.
But I think about them doing that and, some play action pass, Derek Carr dropping passes over to Waller. But with Waller out, that's a huge weapon that they don't have. And I don't know if he'll be back for our game or not. But if he is, that's going to be another weapon that we'll have to stop. But defensively, we've been playing really well. I think we'll be up for the game. And, the question mark will be, will we be able to put points on the board offensively, enough points to overtake them and have more points than they have?
I think the guy that worries me probably the most in that offense, and you're right. I mean, you're talking about Josh Jacobs. You and I both were big fans of him coming out of college, and he's had an okay year. I don't think it's been nearly to what everybody was hoping for at this point in his career. They haven't really done a good job, quote unquote, establishing the run. They're just not really that team.
Right.
They like to pass the ball a lot. The guy that worries me the most, honestly, is Hunter Renfrow of the group, right? So you have Deshaun Jackson, you got the speedster, the guy that takes it off the top, and of course that's kind of what beat the Broncos that last time they played, but it was not him, it was Henry Ruggs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, but they still have Zay Jones, they still have Deshaun Jackson, they have a couple speedsters, but it's Hunter Renfrow, and it's sort of that crisp route running. He is Mr. Third Down for them. He sustains drives dang near all by himself. So for me, this kind of comes down to, for the Broncos, okay, well, when you're focusing in on this game, yeah, you got to sort of stop the run, but they don't really want to run anyways. I think more than anything is you have to be able to accept that when you get to third and medium, that's the dude that's going to be catching the ball. And what's your response to that? In your opinion, as a defensive player with a guy that is that shifty and can make those kinds of plays, how do you defend it?
Bryce Callahan.
I like that.
Bryce Callahan is the equalizer for those speedy slot receivers for us. He's got the speed, he's got the quickness, and he knows his defense inside and out. So, Hunter Renfrow is a great player. He's definitely a threat, but I feel confident that Bryce Callahan will be more than adequate to at least slow him down. I don't know if you can stop Hunter Renfrow, but at least slow him down and be right there with him step for step.
Yeah, that's the dude I think I worry about the most. And, of course, on the defensive side, you know about Max Crosby and just how talented he can be when he's out there and healthy. So, it's gonna be a challenge. It's one of those games, I think, that as you just have seen the Raiders, they play the Broncos tough. They have been playing the Broncos tough for the last several years.
Way. I mean,
right.
It's a rivalry that started many, many years ago, and because we're in division as well, it makes it that much more fun to play these games, that much more competition, and both teams will be ready to play.
Now, you got Drew Lock's going to be starting this game, okay? So what are your expectations now for what we need to see out of Lock?
Well, when Drew came into the game last week, I thought that he did a good job to start off and then kind of got off track a little bit. But I think with the full week of getting all the reps, I think he'll be ready to go. I think he'll take some of the positives from Teddy's game, taking the short passes when they're there, and then, also being able to take strikes and get the outside receivers, Jerry Jeudy, get those guys involved in the game with the intermediate to deep balls, and make everybody happy on the offensive side, move that ball and put some points on the board. Yeah,
this is probably going to be one of those games because it favors the Raiders in that respect, that they're going to want to try to put some points. They're one of those kinds of offenses that feels better, more comfortable when they're pushing the ball down the field, some big plays, kind of like the Chiefs in that respect. But they just don't really have all of the complete weapons, right? I mean, especially without Waller, and we don't really know his status just yet, but let's assume he's not in there. Foster Moreau's not quite that guy. He's good blocking tight end. He can catch short passes, but that's just not really his game. So I sort of feel like for the Broncos, this is one of those games where you've been holding all of your opponents under their season average, right? I mean, they've been doing such a good job of that, but this offense is going to have to do something more.
Yeah, because, you're going to get the best from the Raiders. And in order to, play competitive ball and to compete with them, you got to bring your best. But they know that. The players on the team, they know that. I don't think there will be any problem with the guys getting up for this game. I think it's going to be a great football game.
I'm looking forward to it. Steve, thank you so much, man.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate
it. Steve Atwater, I'm Ryan Edwards. Thanks for watching Broncos Country Tonight.